everybody, it is time again. It is the weekend, so that must mean that it is time for the Arena of Legends. Thanks for joining us. And we have got some legends in our map today, or match today, don't we, Moltrap?
We certainly do. Actually, probably two of the most legendary, well, definitely the two most legendary players in the entire tournament are going to be playing today. BoxeR and Slayer's BoxeR. A lot of the guys in this tournament are legends of StarCraft 2, but these guys have been legends for about a decade now. And so we're going to see some definitely legendary players duking it out today. And of course, Naniwa, a new formed legend from the European StarCraft scene.
Trying to form his own legend today, if you will. Right. There's some of our earlier results. We had MMA advance from Group A 2-0ing Nest-T. And of course, Nest-T 2-0ing OGS MC as well. MMA just crushed that group. And then in Group B, we had Marine King coming out on top, going 2-0 versus Trickster Lucira, 2-0 versus Trickster as well. And then Marine King 2-0 over Lucira. So Terran's out of that group there. And then in Group C, looks like we had Dongregu come out on top of MVP, and MVP come out on top of Puck. And Dongregu going 2-1 against Puck as well. So I believe that Dongregu advanced from that group. Is that right?
That's how it works.
Am I reading that right? All right,
Yep.
Great. And today, of course, we're going to find out who out of these three are going to advance. July, BoxeR, or Naniwa. Startail July, of course. Slayer's BoxeR, and Complexity Naniwa. Although, I think he's still Dignitas until like the end of the month, and then it switches over.
Yeah,
maybe he joined it now. I don't know.
Something like that.
Who knows about all those players switching teams every other day? I just care about how they play in-game. I don't really care about what team they play for. That's all I got to say about that. And the semifinals, our first semifinal next week, is going to be
2 weeks from now,
MMA. Oh, that's right.
We
My
skip
bad.
a week.
Yep.
So I actually made that same mistake yesterday, and I was looking at the schedule today, and I was like, oh, there's actually a week off in between. I forgot about that.
Time kind of like kind of flows together as you cast StarCraft, basically. Well, here's one of our three guys today. It is, of course, Startail July. He was a Code S runner-up back in March. He lost to MC, and then he made it all the way to the round of 4 in Code S in August as well. He's done, pretty good in the GSL. He's been solid, but hasn't quite had the opportunity to get a championship yet. I feel like he's still got some kinks to sort of work out of his play. I like to talk a lot about the July second in a game where, that's the very moment where July realizes he can kill someone and just goes for it. But this guy, I'll let you talk about BoxeR. Go ahead, Moltrap. It's all yours.
BoxeR is a god among men in the StarCraft world. That's what he is. He is the Emperor. He's a very, very old school player. He basically made esports what it is, helped develop the StarCraft 1 scene back in the early 2000s. And, hasn't been on top of the game in the last maybe 5 years, but he's trying to get back in now. We're going to get started in game number 1, actually, very soon here. Slayer's BoxeR versus BoxeR. Both players legends of Brood War. We're going to find out who is more legendary in StarCraft 2 here at the Arena of Legends.
All right, guys, let's get things going here. Down at the bottom of our map, Terminus, we have our Zerg player from the team, Startail, a Golden Mouse winner in Brood War. So pretty good in StarCraft 2 as well. He is Startail July. And then spawning over at the 9 o'clock position in the blue from the team Slayers is the Emperor himself, Slayer's BoxeR. And I gotta say, Moltrap, I love watching these two play against each other. They've definitely sort of cultivated this StarCraft 2 rivalry, and it's always fun when they meet. We always seem to see interesting games.
Yeah, their match in the All-Star game before the finals was actually epic.
Yeah,
it was really, really cool. By the way, just a little random tidbit, a lot of people think that they actually even came up with the idea of the Golden Mouse. For those of you who don't know that,
really?
It's if you win 3 OSLs, it's a Brood War tournament, then you get the Golden Mouse. It's like, all right, we got a hat trick of championships, so we're going to give you a special honor. And a lot of people think that they made that because of BoxeR, because he was winning so much that they're like, all right, well, we have to come up with something special to have happen when he gets his 3rd OSL. And he actually never did. He got other championships and other tournaments, but he never quite got 3 OSLs. He got 2, I believe. So kind of interesting how that works. BoxeR did get the Golden Mouse. He's one of 3 or 4 players, I think, only to get it.
Now, That's quite an accomplishment. I mean, that's basically the equivalent of winning 3 GSLs. So that, just to kind of put it in perspective for you guys who may not have really followed Brood War, July in Brood War was kind of the same as like Nest T or MVP is now in StarCraft 2. You know, he's won 3 or more of those big tournaments. So
yeah,
just to kind of put it into perspective.
The interesting thing about July Zerg is actually kind of he spaces out his wins too. Like he got a couple wins in I'm gonna try to get this wrong, but I think 04, like 03, 04 was kind of his time of dominance. 05, and then he kind of fell off the map, and he just came back randomly in like 2008 and was like, oh, I'm actually just a champion again. I'm gonna beat the top players again, even though I've been considered washed up for many years now. So, and here he is, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know if July Zerg can do that well in StarCraft 2. Here he is, get to the finals, and then the semifinals in 2 GSLs. So definitely not someone that you can underestimate ever.
At least one of those players where if like I was standing around the GOM house and like suddenly the door opened and like some fog came in and like an older looking wolf came through the door and he's like, I've come from the future to tell you who wins the GSL in 6 months. It's going to be July Zerg. I'd be like, oh, that's not so
I can see that,
really Future wolf. I would be surprised.
Silly future wolf.
Then he'd go back to the future.
Getting all cocky, thinking, yo, I'm from the future. You should listen to me.
He's got like robot arms and legs and stuff. It's like, wow, 6 months from now, Wolf is going to be awesome.
BoxeR, of course, just to get into his build for a second, but he is, of course, also someone that you can't underestimate. He is so smart that even when you think that his mechanics aren't up to the top snuff, he is still able to beat really good players. So, not someone you want to underestimate either in any sense. Now, he is going for a Reactor Hellion expansion. He's actually built his expansion down on the low ground of his main, so that's kind of interesting.
You know, it's actually, what else is interesting is to see BoxeR go for such a standard opening. Oop, little miss micro with the Marine, didn't quite catch a Zergling, but because usually BoxeR lately has been doing almost exclusively very complicated, very sort of complex openings that involve like a lot of multitasking and things like that. And here we just see him go for a Reactored Hellion expand, which is the most basic, safe TVZ opening you can do. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how he follows that up. If he's just going to play standard, you know, for one game against July, or if he's got some sort of special mid-game plan, because he really is one of those Terran players that is innovating. You know, he's doing a lot of new things, almost too much to a certain extent. You know, he's actually been losing a lot because he's been doing a lot of kind of innovative things, but sometimes it seems like the complexity kind of gets in the way of the effectiveness of the overall strategy, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't remember who it was against, but yeah, when BoxeR played Zerg not that long ago, he tried that strategy where it's just all Hellions and Marines, and he's actually going to try to run by. Not going to actually be able to run by.
Thought he could maybe make it up the ramp into the main, but the Zerglings were there to zone out the Hellions. But a little bit of a close call for July, but he was pretty well prepared.
Yeah, most Zergs don't get that many Zerglings this early on, so he might have been surprised to see that many there.
Well, this is really cool. BoxeR seems to be just moving into a very normal Marine tank game. He's getting stim. Looks like he's going to lose a few units to these Zerglings of July Zerg, but should be okay overall. And yep, raises the depots in time, so he's going to have to deal with that, bring back the Hellions. But overall, he should be okay. Might lose a couple SCVs, but looks like he's moving into kind of a very normal TVZ mid-game.
He did lose several units there to these Zerglings, so those Zerglings were definitely more than worth it. Although it looks like they are going to die, most of them. So not quite as worth it, but that was actually really good because now BoxeR is actually just basically stuck in his base for a while. He killed 5 SCVs in that attack.
All right.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all early in the game. That does help out quite a bit. Adding on a starport now, Stim is getting pretty close to done. So we could, you know, I mean, despite losing a few Marines there, we could still see kind of a normal 2-base Marine tank sort of timing push in a little bit, but we'll see how fast July gets those mutos out. He did go for that lair a bit quickly, so we'll see what happens with that. July actually really loves Mutalisks. Like, that's like the thing he does. He just tries to do damage with Mutalisks.
Yeah. Well,
finds a way.
In Brood War, he actually basically redefined the Mutalisk. He actually is the one that actually I don't want to say positively that he invented it, but he is the one that popularized modern Mutalisk micro in Brood War. And he's actually, there was a time where a player named I Love Uv, who was actually BoxeR's first prodigy, was basically destroying every Zerg he met. He actually won literally like 33 matches versus Zerg in a row.
Wow.
And the first person to beat him was July Zerg in the finals of a Star League, because he had come up with just a new style of playing Zerg, and that's why July Zerg is a legend. He actually revolutionized Zerg play in Brood War. So anyway, yes, he does. Point being, he does love his Mutalisks. He loves microing them. He when you say, you know, sometimes you'll say he practically invented Mutalisk micro. Well, actually, July Zerg literally did. Oh, nice. Hiding in that corner. Beautiful placement there.
That is pretty nice. And you can see July pulling back a couple Zerglings, trying to lose not quite as many, but, you know, he still actually loses a ton. So, wow. Barbecue at the Zelnaga Tower. Bring your friends. And that is going to kind of allow BoxeR to get a little bit more aggressive with those Marines. How many tanks does he have at the moment? I haven't checked.
I don't think he has any tanks.
He's got one on the way, but yeah, that is actually his first tank. Okay, interesting. So he's going to go for that drop instead. 2 Marines have to walk, but don't worry, they can run as fast as airplanes, so it's perfectly fine. And July doesn't have a lot of Lings out, but he does have these Mutas, and the combination of the two might be enough to take this out. We're about to find out. Oh, he's got some Banelings as well. BoxeR needs to be careful here.
He does split pretty well against the Banelings. I don't know if these Marines are quite going to be enough to deal with the Mutas, though. He's targeting them down.
Yeah.
And just barely, well, not barely, but he is going to be able to take out those Marines.
That didn't work out too well for July, or for BoxeR rather. It worked out very well for July. He actually killed everything.
If he hadn't had those Banelings, those Marines would have done a lot more damage. Could have taken out all of his Mutas, actually.
That's the thing, yeah. The Banelings were kind of hiding at the natural, and now BoxeR's going to lose another Matavax, so...
Oh, no.
Kind of a rough start for Slayer's BoxeR, and that is a pretty significant loss at this point in the game. BoxeR's going to be wow. That was close. He's going to need to be a lot more defensive, but, you know, if your opponent just flies his Mutas right over your Marines, that helps.
That helps.
That's pretty good for Terran.
Yeah, July Zerg's like, you know what? That was pretty bad of you to lose your Metavac, so I'm going to lose a couple Mutas in exchange. How does that sound? Make it even.
Yeah. Well, you know, these guys, you know, they want to have a good game, so they're like, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to kill you, drop badly. Here, have some Mutas, have some Mutas. All right, July wants those tanks. He wants to try to snipe them.
July Zerg, he's steady at about 66 drones. Well, exactly 66 at the moment. July Zerg really likes to play a style with a little bit lower economy. I mean, it's something they've been known for. Oh, his flight is Mutas over Marines again. Didn't expect them to be there. That's
also something July is kind of being known for in StarCraft 2 is really being a little bit careless with his Mutalisks. That's something that if you go back and watch a lot of his games, you know, it's not a safe thing to be a Mutalisk in the army of July Zerg, because chances are you're probably going to die.
Now, just to point this out, if you hadn't noticed already, BoxeR did hide another base at the northern end of the map, and July Zerg does not have any clue this is there. So that is going to help out a lot. He hasn't been able to take his third in his main, I guess, so he decided to take a hidden one, but I don't... Oh, does he? Does he know it's there? I don't think he knows it's there, but he's flying his units very, very close to that spot up at the top.
He might go up and scout for a little bit, but July's not really one of those players that does a whole lot of scouting, though, honestly. I mean, he's a player that just really focuses on where he knows his opponent is. He tries to find those little tiny gaps in the defenses where he can come in, just like this, flying all the way around the outside. There is a turret there, though, so he gets just a couple SCVs. Might be able to do some damage, kind of pause the armory from building a little bit there.
That's actually big, because the armory, moments from completing, now he can't actually build Thors to defend against those Mutas.
Yeah.
And BoxeR's just going to try and draw him back by attacking.
He's going for it. Take out some creep tumors. Looks like he's going to need to cancel that armory as well. Oh, no, some units out of position. July just absolutely swarming the reinforcements for BoxeR.
That's something that July Zerg loves to do, is just pick off those reinforcements while they're en route. BoxeR has a nice little door set up against Zerglings. And here he goes into the main, though. There's a lot of Banelings coming up, though. Can he target them down or split against them? He's splitting his Marines decently, but I don't know if he's going to have enough Marines left over at the end. He is not.
Nope, that is just too much here. And July Zerg suddenly has a huge lead in this game.
Yep.
BoxeR's hidden third might help a little bit, but I don't know. I think he's lost a little bit too much.
Yep. What I was kind of saying before, July Zerg, he's still at 66 drones. He likes to get to about 60 to 70 drones and then stop there. A lot of players will go up to 80, 90, even we've seen 100 drones, and then they count on having the economy to replenish their army quickly. July Zerg, he likes to keep his drone count low so that his overall army count can actually be higher when he's maxed out.
That's right.
And just focus on building units, and because he's so aggressive, it can work.
And he is making more. Oh, he's going to catch these Marines when they're firing at the rocks. Oh, that is not going good for BoxeR. Everything going wrong at this point. And we have reached critical mass with these mutas, I think, Moltrap.
I think we have.
Yep, he's just going to go ahead and magic box the bunker just because it's fun.
I think we've reached a critical lack of mass in the Marine count is the main problem here.
That too, yeah.
He just lost his whole army there, and he didn't have much of an army to begin with. Zergling's coming in as well, and we're going to see GG any moment now.
And it's the end of the game, and it looks like Jolizerg is going to take game 1. Look out, SCV! Oh, no. Never going to finish that supply depot now.
No, indeed. BoxeR, of course, always fights to the bitter end, does not give up until the absolute last possible moment.
It tends to be that way, but when your main base looks like that, you know that something might just not be going quite right.
Yeah, here he comes to SCVs just to protect those last couple Marines, and now he's going to probably leave in just a second here.
Yep.
But valiantly fought by BoxeR was not quite enough. Jolizerg just kind of outplaying him in the early mid-game, getting too much of an advantage.
Yeah.
And BoxeR he had made a couple pushes, and he lost his army so much that Jolizerg just had map control for the whole game.
Well, I feel like it's really tough to play standard Marine tank against a player like Jolizerg. You know, he's so good at flanking, he's so good at finding you when you're unsieged. GG, there it is. And Jolizerg takes down Slayer's BoxeR in game 1 of this best of 3 on Arena of Legends. So there you go, July 1, BoxeR 0. And kind of as I was saying, it's really tough, I think, to play that Marine tank, very standard TVZ style against someone like Jolizerg, because he's just figured it out. I mean, he knows what he needs to do against it. He knows where his units need to be. And yeah, he just kind of walked all over BoxeR in that game.
Yep. Yeah, and it was just, I think a lot of it came down to some critical banelings and a really good timing, or I guess even a lack of timing by BoxeR. He kind of moved out with that little medevac attack, but he wanted to hit right before Mutalisks, but he actually hit when there were already several Mutalisks out. So, and some banelings, of course, as well. So not only did he just, not win the battle, but he couldn't just pick up and leave because the mutas were already out. Yeah. So he lost his medevacs instead, and that put him way behind. If he'd gotten there a little bit sooner, or the mutas had been a little bit slower, then he could have just picked up and left, or microed a little bit better, and he wouldn't have lost anything, and he would have been able to take a lot earlier third.
What you really noticed, too, is that in the very early game, too, July was putting just a little bit of pressure on with those Zerglings, just enough to kind of mess up BoxeR's timings. So that's kind of what ended up delaying that attack, and when you miss a timing like that, that just screws up your entire mid-game as a Terran player in TVZ, and from then on it becomes very, very difficult to sort of get a foothold in the game, especially if you kind of take that hidden third, and then you're kind of like, well, I have to worry about sort of protecting that, and it's kind of risky and just doesn't feel good. So we're going to move on to the next game here pretty soon and see what map BoxeR chooses. I believe it is a loser picks format for the AOL,
Yep.
For the Arena of Legends. Arena of Legends.
That was good.
Thank you. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was actually.
Oh, well, whatever. You're so nice to me, Moltrap. I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, no, the first map is picked by GomTV randomly, and then the loser picks the next map. So BoxeR gets to pick whatever map he wants.
That's right. And
we're going to find out in just a moment what he has picked. He has, in fact, picked Antigua Shipyards.
Not a big surprise there. Definitely a map that a lot of Terran players have been enjoying playing on. Saw Gumiho beat Nest T today, actually. On that map. WCG here.
Oh, yes, WCG.
Yep, let's watch that. And, so a map that some Zergs kind of have a hard time with. It's pretty easy to take and kind of secure 3 bases on the map. The choke going into your main base, sort of natural area, is pretty narrow, but we're going to get into the game here. Who's going to come out on top in game 2? Is it going to be July or BoxeR? Let's find out.